Another lecture, another week in personal finance. I'm Jim Munchback, and what is the day? Oh, it's Valentine's Day, 14 February, the year of our Lord 2023, and we're going to be doing one of my favorite assignments at the University of Houston in personal finance. I call it the Credit Crush assignment. This week, today, we're going to set it up. The actual assignment is next week. So we have some folks ready to join us on Zoom. Let me introduce or welcome them into the Zoom room. Welcome everyone. Good morning. Hope y'all are doing great. Welcome aboard. Coming on to the Zoom room. Hey, if somebody could please do a sound check for me, let me know that you can hear me. I'm assuming you can. It looks like things are good on my end. Someone's trying to talk, but I'm not hearing. Can you hear me? Anyone? Chat in. I can hear you. Okay, cool. So I am, it seems like on a regular basis, I don't know, maybe this happens to you too. Unexpected emergencies pop up. Things happen that you're not expecting. This morning, just like 2 minutes ago, my daughter, who stays with me with her my two grandkids, we had a truck flashing lights outside our house and some guys walking around the yard, and we have a lake next to our house. So apparently we have a water leak somewhere between the street and our house. It's not leaking in our house, it's leaking in our yard. But obviously it's a problem. He said 6 gallons per minute, which I don't know what that'll cost, but it's just going down into the sewer in the street. So obviously I got to get that fixed. And that was, like I said, just a couple minutes ago. So if I'm a little distracted, sorry. But let's get started. It's actually only 10:02 a.m. And you can hear me, so we're good to go. I'm assuming you can see me, which, sorry about that. I wouldn't want to see me in the morning, but it is what it is. So we're going to talk about credit today. You guys did a great job on your assignment last week that was due today. First Memories of Money. I've been reading your articles and your stories, and you did a great job. I hope that you had a good experience, and I trust that you helped create a really remarkable experience for the folks that you chose to interview. And so based on my readings of your homework assignment, First Memories of Money, and the person that you selected to interview and their experience and your experience with your First Memories of Money, it looks like it was a good assignment. It really is probably my favorite assignment of the semester. At least reading your homework is my favorite part. So today and next week, we're going to be working on what I call Credit Crush. And the reason I call it Credit Crush is because, well, it's kind of a double entendre, because we have a kind of a crush on credit. We love credit. In our culture of consumerism, we love credit. And so Credit Crush, it's part of the name. But really, the real meaning of Credit Crush is I want to teach you some things about credit. And I'm going to use my friend Billy and Sally. I'll tell a little story about them and their situation, their experience. But what I want to do is I want to teach you how much it costs to use credit. And so this week we're going to set up the assignment called Credit Crush. I will show you how to set it up in your financial planning portal. And so we'll talk about that today. And then next week, your assignment will be to actually do the Credit Crush assignment. And I'll be talking about what that means in the next hour or so. So anyway, we're going to get started. It is now 10:05 a.m., which means it is showtime. Let me make sure. Yep, it's 10:06, actually 10:05, according to my Apple Watch, which is supposed to always be correct. I never have to set it. and it's 10:06 according to my Apple Watch. So let's get started. If you have any questions, now's a great time to ask. If you have any comments or any reflection or anything you want to share about last week's assignment, the one that was due today, First Memories of Money, I would love to hear if you have anything you want to share. And you can also chat it in if you want in the chat box. I am looking at the chat box. Today, I'm fortunately able to have all of my technology working the way that I'm accustomed to. So I'll be looking at the chat box throughout today as we go forward. If you have a question, going once, going twice, gone. Okay, let's get started with Credit Crush. So like I said, you're going to do this week, you're going to do some work in your financial plan. And it is all lined out in your Blackboard assignment. So you will see this. It is posted and it should be available. If one of you could just jump into Blackboard and just confirm in the chat box that you can access this week's assignment, assignment 5. If you could please do that, that would be helpful. And I am trying to keep my commitment to posting your assignments early, so like an hour before class, so that you have a few minutes to look at it, review it, and see if there's any questions. Cool. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate that. You can access it. So I'm assuming that all of you can access this week's assignment in Blackboard, which is good. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to look that over as we go through today's lesson. So today today's lesson is I'm going to set the table for the Credit Crush assignment, which is really, in terms of financial planning and in terms of like the wow factor and what you learn, what I hope for you to learn this week, this is my favorite assignment, because in this assignment, in the Credit Crush assignment, you're going to get to see, if you follow the instructions and do what I'm about to set up for you, help you do in your financial planning portal. If you follow those instructions and you do what I'm asking you to do, you will have the benefit of seeing how much credit costs you. And that's the purpose of this assignment, the Credit Crush assignment. When I was younger, when I first got married, I made pretty good money, and I spent a lot of money. I think I may have shared a little story about the big fight my wife and I got in after we got married, and we got kind of buried in debt because of me. I was spending money using the ATM card. And anyway, we got in this situation where my wife showed me how much it was costing us to not pay off our debt, our credit. We had a lot of things on credit, like our dining room furniture, which was stupid because it was really cheap quality furniture, but we didn't buy it because we didn't have the money to buy it. But we needed furniture. We got married in college, and we both had jobs, so we had good credit. But anyway, we bought all this stuff using the rent to own approach, which is like, it's almost as bad as payday loans, which is, in my opinion, payday loans are about the most predatory credit of all. And so, as you learned a couple weeks ago, what makes up your credit score and what makes up your FICO score, one of the things is just using credit. If you have no credit history, you have no FICO score. If you have too much credit, you get dinged on your FICO score. If you have just the right amount of credit, they love you and they want you to have more credit. So it's really, Dave Ramsey calls it the FICO score. He calls it the I love credit score, which is, again, kind of how the name of this assignment, the Credit Crush assignment, came into being. Credit Crush. We love credit. In college, when I was in college, I loved credit because it allowed me to have things that I couldn't necessarily afford to pay for. And so that's why the Credit Crush assignment. So I'm going to set this up, and you're going to assume this is going to be a big change in your financial plan. You're going to basically assume that you've already graduated from college. And I'll tell you what assumptions we're going to make, but let me just quickly review and then I'll go through them or preview. So the first thing you're going to do is pretend that you've already graduated from college. So I'm going to ask you to change your birthday in your financial plan and make yourself 10 years older. Just go ahead and do that whenever you have a minute. Start your assignment by doing that. And then I want you to do some research, a little bit of research, because each of you has a major. Hopefully it's a major that has a good prospect for employment when you graduate. I'm going to hope that that's your assumption, that that's your plan, that that's where you're headed, is you're attending a business college, and I'm assuming most of you are going to graduate with a degree in some kind of business, which has some prospect, some good prospect for earning a decent income. But whatever that is, whatever your major is, I want you to do a little research, and I want you to figure out what is the amount of income that you will have when you graduate if you get your dream job. That's important because you're going to make some changes to your financial plan. You're going to make yourself 10 years older. Just change your birthday, add 10 years. Actually, you'll reduce 10 years from your birthday. So if you're born in 1985, you're going to say you were born in 1975. Yeah, so anyway, I was born in 1962. That makes me old, but if I wanted to be 70 years old instead of 60 years old, I would change my birthday to 4/15/52, which would make me 70 years old until April. So you figure that out, do that, make yourself 10 years older, do some research, figure out how much money you're going to make if you get your dream job. That's kind of first. And then I'm going to show you some things that you're going to do in your financial plan that are make-believe, things that you're just going to add so you can experience and illustrate the cost, the impact of credit on your financial plan and on your financial future. And it's going to be very helpful. So Billy and Sally are kind of our role models for this assignment. When I first started teaching this course, I met this guy. I was at a Firestone shop, and I met this guy named Billy, and I was just about to start teaching. I hadn't actually started teaching this course. I was getting some work done on my Lexus. The transmission needed to be serviced, just the fluid and filters. And I was a master mechanic, so I work on my own cars, but when it's really nasty work, like changing the transmission fluid, I let someone else do that. So that's why I was there, and Billy was there because he wanted to buy some tires for his new Ford F-150 pickup truck. So question, do you guys have any idea what it costs for 4 tires for a Ford F-150 pickup truck? While you're thinking about that, and I do hope you'll give me a number in the chat box, but while you're thinking about that, what does it cost for 4 tires for a Ford F-150? I just want you to know that when I met Billy, we hit it off because I love Ford F-150s. I've never owned one, but I was a master mechanic for many years, and I worked on F-150s, and I knew they were and are and probably will always be the most popular vehicle ever manufactured in the world. Okay, so today, still, the Ford F-150 is the number 1 selling vehicle in the world. So it's a great truck. I don't know about the electric one. I saw one in a dealer the other day that was all electric. I tried to get them to let me drive it, and they wouldn't let me unless I was a serious buyer, which I'm not. But anyway, Ford F-150 is a great vehicle, and Billy had one. He got it from his uncle for a very good price. And since I was about to teach personal finance, and he was a young guy going to San Jac College, just graduated from San Jac, actually. He was living at home, and, I got to know him, asked him about stuff because, I'm old. And I met this young guy, and I was curious about his situation, his story, and his approach to spending on a big ticket item, which I don't know about you, but when I buy 4 tires, I did last week, I bought 4 tires for my Lexus. This is a big ticket item. It was like over $1,000 for 4 tires for my little Lexus. Now, I don't see any comments in the chat. Nobody's guessing. Thank you, Orlando. In 2023, probably $400 each for a Ford F-150. I think that's probably really close, Orlando. And so thank you for that. You could probably Google it or go to Costco or Walmart or Goodyear or Discount Tire, anywhere, and just say, I need tires for my Ford F-150. And in fact, that's what Billy had done. He had, at the time we did have Google. It was not something I had when I was your age, but Billy had done his research and he found these tires on sale at Firestone. And that's why he was there. He had a coupon to buy these tires on sale. And that's when he met Sally. And this in the picture is Sally. And Sally and Billy met at Firestone. And I was there to witness this. That's the story. Billy meets Sally. And Billy was there to get tires on his pickup truck. Sally was the service manager. Her job was to talk to Billy and find out what he needed and help him with the service that he was there to purchase. But he came there with a coupon, basically, to buy these tires on sale. And Sally was an amazing salesperson. Like, she was Miss Super Sales Lady of the Year. I've been in sales all my life. I think sales is a great career choice for certain people. And I think the job of a salesperson is to help someone find what they need and what they want and help them make the best decision possible. And a well-informed professional salesperson, I think it's a great job. I know it's a difficult job and not everybody appreciates it. My wife actually hates, well, she doesn't hate, that's a harsh word, but she doesn't really like salespeople. Last week, actually, Thursday, we went to the RV show and they had some amazing deals. The only problem, and I loved, I asked a lot of questions. I was very interested. I wanted to buy a new RV because I've never seen prices as low as they were this year because there's just so many of them on the market. And so working with the salespeople, I wanted to buy from each one of them, but my wife was just, she felt pressured. She felt awkward. She didn't enjoy it. Maybe you feel the same way when you work with a salesperson. But, I saw these guys, most of them were guys. We had one lady, but they were just trying to do their job, trying to answer our questions, trying to help us make a good decision. And I appreciate that. So I always appreciate salespeople. And when I met Sally, I just watched and I was like, wow, she is so good. Because what she did with Billy is she took this customer who was there to buy cheap tires and she helped him reimagine what's possible. So can you think about what that means? Like, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, my folks who are here in the Zoom room, they're just not all that active. They may be doing something else, I don't know. But if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and leave an answer. Like, what do you think it's going to cost Billy to buy these 4 tires for his Ford F-150 using the coupon, the sale price at Firestone? Uh-oh, my phone's ringing. I meant to turn it off. Let me do that. I'm turning off my phone. Sorry about that. So think about that. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and post a price. If you're in the Zoom room, you're welcome to do that too. So far, I only have one student giving me an answer. So I'm paying attention to your chat. So how much do you think the tires would cost if you bought them on sale? And you can use today's price. Doesn't really matter for this illustration. And then the next question is, what do you think Sally's job was? Put yourself in the role, in the shoes of a professional salesperson who has a customer, who has a need, and they're standing right in front of you. Okay, I think my chat box is broken because, oh, there we go. Vivian, thank you. $1,500 for the cheap set of tires. That's not bad, probably. Honestly, I don't know for sure. I'd have to Google it myself. But back then, I know what the price was. And then I know what Sally did with Billy. That was so remarkable. So that's the next question. Vivian, Orlando, do either one of you have any idea? Or Christian, can you tell me what you think Sally might have done with Billy, who was there needing tires for his F-150? What would be her job? If you were Sally, what would be your job with this customer who came in to purchase the cheapest tires in the store? And your job as a salesperson is to sell. What do you think Sally's job was with Billy? So I'm going to let you think about that for a minute. And again, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please leave your comment below. I love to read those, even if it's 2 in the morning when you're watching this. So, okay, you guys apparently are not in sales. So, yes, here we go. Maritza says, selling other bells and whistles, convincing him that if he got tires, he would need other things to complement them. That's a great answer, and it's a great start. Raj says, buy 3 full tires and the 4th for a cheaper price. Okay, that might be the best solution for Billy, maybe, but that's not going to make Sally any extra money in her paycheck come commission time. And she does get paid commission for selling. And so the point is here, Sally's job is to, so Christian says, if I was Sally, I'd show him the medium price tire set and the cheapest tire set and actively compare the advantages to the tire set that costs more, like higher durability and maybe warranties. Bingo. That's exactly what Sally did. She's like, these tires, but here's what she did also. Christian, that was a great answer, by the way. But here's what she did also, which was really remarkable. She said to Billy, she gave him lots of compliments. You could tell they're both beautiful people, physically attractive. Not that I'm attracted to guys, I'm not. But I noticed Sally, and I noticed Billy noticing Sally. And, that's kind of the way things go. And so it was kind of fun to watch Sally talk to Billy about his truck, which was a really nice truck, but she helped Billy imagine what it would be like if he drove that truck home instead of with these black wall, inexpensive tires, if he upgraded them to these more really cool, more expensive white wall, not white wall, but white raised leather tires that were bigger, different profile. So now Sally's talking to him about a real upgrade, not just because it's a better quality, not just because it will last longer, but because it'll make Billy look better. And that kind of is the key to our culture of consumerism. We buy a lot of stuff to impress people because we want to look good and we don't want to look bad. And Sally helped Billy understand that for a few bucks more, he could be really looking good. And for Billy, that mattered, especially coming from Sally. So that was kind of it. Christian, you're right on, though. So she compared those things. And then, of course, Billy was interested. And Sally had then the opportunity to say, in addition to those tires, you have factory rims on your truck. And Firestone had a great selection of really nice high-end rims, which really changed the look of the truck. And with just a little bit of extra labor and materials, they could raise the truck so that it stood up a little higher and had much better tires and really transformed the look of that truck. And of course, Billy was interested, but Billy, he was living at home. He had a job. What really made us hit it off, Billy had a job in Marathon in a plant down in Texas City. And I happened to own 18 vending machines at that time inside of the plant. So I was able to go into that plant and change the snack machines and the soda machines. It was a little side hustle business that I had, which that's why we hit it off, because he worked at that plant. So it's like, oh yeah, I go in there all the time. I'll be looking for you, man. Buy my Dr. Pepper from machine number 7 over there where you work. That's how we hit it off. So he worked there at Marathon. He was making good money. He graduated from San Jac with a 2-year degree, got a job at Marathon, living at home, making good money. So he had saved enough money to pay cash for these tires. But then when Sally started to talk to him about the next level and looking good, the tires, the rims, the raise kit, all of that, he was like, well, I don't have enough money to pay for that. And that's when Sally came up with a remarkable solution. So I'm going to pause for a minute and just let you think about, what do you think Sally's solution for Billy was in order for him to buy something that he really didn't have the money for? At least he didn't have the money to pay cash. And so he was really interested, but Sally's job now is not just to help Billy see what's possible with this new upgrade, but also to help it be possible through a certain product that we've been talking about, which fits right into this week and next week's assignment called Credit Crush. So what do you think? Ooh, I just gave you the answer. Yeah, get a loan to finance his purchase. Exactly. Credit, yes. And so I want to tell you a little bit about the credit deal. So first of all, Billy's going to get the tires, assuming Billy's going to get the tires. He's going to get the upgraded tires. He's going to get the rims. He's going to get the lift kit. And Sally's very good at what she does. I was a master mechanic, and what she did next was very reasonable. It was the right thing to do, and it totally made sense. She said, Billy, what we need to do is we need to align your vehicle, because when we put the new tires on and we raise it, it's going to change the angles of the tire. There are 3 angles in an alignment. One is the camber. That's when the tires go in and out like this. And imagine if your tires are going down the road and the angles are like this or this. It's going to wear the bottom of the tires wherever it's touching the road in an uneven way. So you have to adjust that. The way you do that on a Ford F-150 is you actually bend the I-beam. It's a really kind of expensive alignment. But it's necessary. So you've got the camber, and then you've got caster. Think about a shopping cart. The wheels are like this. That's caster. And so if the caster is not correct, it will cause it to shimmy. You've seen that before in a shopping cart where the wheels just wobble, and that's because it's got too much negative caster. Negative caster, positive caster. So think about a motorcycle with a chopper. That's positive caster. That's caster. And that will make your vehicle shake. And she's explaining all this to him. And then the third angle is the toe. That's how the tires are angled in or out. And obviously, if your toe setting is wrong, that's how you do that through tie rods. If those tires are pointed in towards each other, it will wear out the outside of those tires quicker than you can get to Dallas. Anyway, so it needed an alignment. That was a couple $100 more, but it was a lifetime alignment, and it allowed the tire's warranty to stay in effect. And then there was the balancing and the disposal of the tires and new stems and all of that, in addition to, well, check this out. When they got ready to align the truck, they found that there was a bad tie rod and a bad ball joint. So they had to do a little suspension work, which is right. If you have loose parts, you can't align it and expect it to stay that way. So Billy had a situation. Now Sally sold him the new tires, the better tires, the rims, the lift kit, the alignment, the balance, the stems, the warranty on the tires. Did I say balance? All of that. Now, how much do you think the total price for that whole thing, with the repairs, the ball joint and the tie rod end, how much do you think all of that is going to cost Billy, drive out, tax, title, and license? Give me a number. We started out with a number that looked right, $1,500, maybe $1,200, probably more like $1,500 for just basic 4 tires on sale. But now Sally has Billy looking at 4 really cool tires with really nice rims, with a lift kit, with a lifetime alignment, with balancing, road warranty, stems, a tie rod, and a ball joint. All of that. How much? $3,000, Vivian says. That's pretty close, Vivian. $3,000. Back when I first told this story, I think it was $2,500, but today it's probably $3,000, and that's probably a very reasonable amount. I mean, think about it. If you just got a really good deal on a Ford F-150 and you wanted to take it from, basic F-150 to really cool Sally style F-150, $3,000 is not that much. So let's go with that. since Vivian's the only one giving me an answer, and if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you don't have to use $3,000. What do you think? Do a little math. If you don't know how much it costs to put a ball joint in or a tie rod end, an alignment, 4 nice tires for an F-150, all of those numbers are pretty easy to find. So I don't know if it's $3,000, but let's just say we went from 1,500 to $3,000, and that's fine because that fits with this whole story. What do we do next? If you're going to do $3,000 and you're Sally, how are you going to help Billy make that happen? We already know she's going to use credit, but let's talk a little bit about the product that she's now in the process of selling to Billy. The product is called credit. It's a credit. It's a new account credit card for Firestone that has certain features and benefits. And Sally's really good, just like she's really good at selling Billy on the new tires, the upgraded wheels, the whole new look he's going to drive away with. Not only is she good at that, but she's really good at setting the table for Billy to know why using this new feature or new product, rather, the credit card from Firestone. What do you think the features and benefits of that product would be for Billy? And if you've never bought anything with a credit card, you're probably a little clueless. But if you have, now's the time to show what you learned from your experience. So what extra points back? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Vivian. Extra points back. Like if I'm assuming you're talking about like if he puts, so just know Billy doesn't have a credit card, okay? He's going to establish a credit card with Firestone. I'm not sure. I'm sure he had credit of some kind, but Sally is selling Billy a Firestone credit card, and it has a certain offer, features and benefits that are relevant that I want to talk about and unpack for just a minute. I don't think I have them listed. Yeah, no, it's not really part of your assignment, but it's just a story to help you set the table in your own mind for how you're going to set up your own debt, your own credit. So anyone else want to take a guess at what the features and benefits are for the new product, the Firestone credit card? Like, what does that look like? What are the terms? Think about it for a minute, okay? So I'm just going to start typing into the chat. I'm going to say 6 months cashback discount. Christian, cashback discounts. I'm not sure, but what do you think if I tell you 6 months? What does that trigger? Does that trigger anything? I just typed 6 months into the chat box. Then I'm going to put same as ? Does that ring a bell for anybody? 6 months, same as fill in the blank. I think this may be on your quiz. I'm not positive. I don't think it is actually. 6 months, same as cash. This is a first feature. So 6 months, same as cash. You guys seeing that? Do you know what that means? Have you ever heard that? Can you guess? 6 months, same as cash. I guess that's just an old term that we used back in the day when credit cards were kind of a new product that everybody was selling us at the stores. Interest, yes. So interest, Christian, what that means, 6 months, same as cash is, so this credit card, this new credit card that Billy's going to sign up for so he can pay for his tires, it's a credit card. It's going to mean he has a balance, and the balance is the $3,000. That's what the cost is now for his new package, his new tires, and all those things I mentioned. So now he's going to have a credit card, but for 6 months. If he pays that off, that balance of $3,000, if he pays it off in 6 months, he pays no interest. Otherwise, I'm going to put low interest. So let's talk about that for a minute, Christian, since you and I are obviously here, and maybe anyone else, Vivian, Maritza, anyone who has suggestion or comment or a little information about what I mean by low interest. So those are two different features, two different benefits. 6 months, same as cash, which means you pay no interest on this loan if you pay the balance off in 6 months. And since Billy's living at home and he's making really good money, 3 grand in 6 months, he already had 1,500 saved. He was ready to pay cash for that. So he could, just save another 1,500, and within 6 months, he would basically pay that loan off and pay no interest. That's one thing. Now, what's low interest? That's another feature. So what do you think if you got a new credit card today to buy tires and whatever, what would you think would be low interest? So just come up with a number there. You're going to have to do this week in your assignment because you're going to incur 3 new debts. You're going to set up 3 new debts. You're going to find a car and you're going to buy a car. And you're going to have to do a little research to figure out how much that car costs. And you're going to finance that car. This is all make-believe, but you're going to have to do this in your assignment. So you're going to have to figure out what is the interest rate you're going to pay on that card. And if it's not a reasonable interest rate, you're going to get deductions. So now's a good time for you to start guessing at what kind of interest rate you're going to have on a credit card. Because you're going to spend 10 grand on a credit card this week. It's all imaginary, but you're going to have to set up the data card for $10,000 on a credit card. And then you're going to buy a car and you're going to have to set up that data card with all the information that goes in there. And then you're going to buy a house. And that's going to require you to do some real research to figure out how much house can you afford on that salary that you're receiving because you got that dream job. That's all your assignment this week is to do a little research and set up these 3 different purchases, 10 grand on a credit card, the car of your dreams, and your dream house within your budget, what you can afford. So 2.7, Maritza says 2.7%. Now, if that said 27%, I'd say that's pretty close. 2.7% on a credit card, a revolving credit card, is really low. And I don't think you're going to find it in a Firestone or any kind of store like that. So 17, Vivian, that's probably a lot closer, 17. In fact, I really hope you guys will do some research this week because interest rates on credit cards, and that's what this is, it would be a credit card, and car loans. Now, if you buy a new car from the manufacturer, and you get their deal, it might be 2.7, but it's not going to be 2.7 if you're doing it on a credit card at a Firestone. That's going to be a lot more interest. So even low interest, which is what Sally's telling Billy, this is going to be a low interest loan. It's still not that low. It's not 2.7. So 18 to 22, Maritza, that sounds really right, is probably right in that range. So just keep that number in mind. Because when you come back to next week and you do your Credit Crush assignment, the interest that you have on that loan is going to make a huge difference in terms of the cost of that credit. So we've got 2 features and 2 benefits from Sally for this new product called Credit at Firestone for Billy's purchase. It's the way she's going to make it super easy for him to do. So low interest, 6 months, same as cash. What do you think if I say the word 0? I'm typing the word 0. If I say 0, does that trigger anything as far as another benefit, another feature of this product, this credit product? 0. Annual fee. Vivian, that could be right. So we could say that's a benefit and a feature. This credit card has no annual fee. That's good. I didn't even think about that. In fact, in all the years I've been teaching this and telling this story, nobody's ever said an annual fee. I've never actually done it like this where I type a word and ask you to respond, but that's a good one. But yes, there's another one though. There's another 0. 0 interest for a specified amount of time, even if the balance isn't paid off. So Christian, that's right. We already said 6 months, same as cash. So there's 0 interest for 6 months. But at 6 months, if you don't pay it off, then you have to pay the interest for the whole 6 months. And then in addition to that, you have to pay the current month's interest. So that's how the 6 months, same as cash works. But the 0 that I wrote down there's another feature, another benefit, 0. And I'm trying to get you guys to think about what would that mean? What do you think it could be? 0. How about if I say the word no money? I'm looking for an answer. These are trying to prompt you to think about if you were going to apply for a credit card and you were going to, take Sally's offer of this product, this credit balance for $3,000 to pay for the new tires, the new wheels, the lift kit, the alignment, the repairs to the suspension so that the alignment would hold, the ball joint, the tie rod, the balancing, the lifetime warranty on the tires, the new stems, all of that we said was $3,000. And we can do that 6 months, same as cash, which means you're not going to pay anything for 6 months. If you pay it off after 6 months, you pay no interest. If you want to keep it on your balance and pay interest, it's a low interest rate. We're going to say 18%. So 18% of $3,000, you can easily do that math and figure out how much is it going to cost you for 18% on $3,000 for 6 months. And all you do is you calculate $3,000 times 12%. That's for the whole year. You divide it by 2, and now you know exactly how much interest you're going to pay at 18% if you hold that loan for 6 months. And if you want to know the monthly interest, all you got to do is divide that whole number by 12. So $3,000 times 18% divided by 12 is your monthly interest. But what happens is every month that new interest goes on top of the balance, So we're trying to get to the zero part. So I'm just going to have to tell you because we don't have time to so zero money down. So does that make sense? Again, we're trying to unpack the features and the benefits of this new product called credit, how it works. I need you guys to understand how this stuff works in the real world. And this is how it works in the real world. Sally is helping Billy make a purchase. She's using a product that she has in her toolbox called credit to help her sell more stuff to Billy. And this is going to happen over and over and over in Billy's life, in my life, in your life, because we love credit. Because credit is a product that allows us to have stuff that we may not necessarily be able to afford. And so it's such a sweet deal. I want to make sure you understand what makes the deal so sweet. So we said 6 months, same as cash, low interest, no money down. That's 3 features and benefits of this product called credit. So what else? Zero money down. Can you guys think of any other benefit for this product besides 6 months, same as cash? Low interest. I mean, 18% may not seem low to you, but compared to 25%, it's pretty low. And it's no money down. So Billy can walk out of that store without making a single payment. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? It's true, though. That's how this deal was set up. This product, these are the features and the benefits. And then there's a low, I'm going to say low. How would you finish that sentence? What's another feature, another benefit of this product? Low, come on, Christian. You've been with me, Vivian? Somebody? Maritza? Low, another feature, another benefit of this product, this credit card. Low interest. We already said low interest. We said 18%, but there's another low thing, another something that's low in this deal. Low installment payments. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, that's easy, right? Think about it. This is pretty basic stuff. It's super basic stuff, but it's the meat and potatoes of understanding how credit works. So how they get you to do this is they say low monthly payment. So that's the next one, low monthly payments. And when you see how this unpacks, if I could show you the credit card statement for Billy and Sally, because as you may know, okay, I'll tell you the rest of this story in just a minute, but let me just tell you what the benefits and the feature of the credit product. 6 months, same as cash. So you can walk out of here, and if you pay this loan off in 6 months, you pay no interest. If you don't pay it off in 6 months, the interest is low. It's only 18%. You can do the math and you can see how much it costs for a year, and that, cut that in half and it's 6 months. No money down, which means you put nothing down. That $3,000 is going to be $3,000, and that's you can drive out of here on those new tires with all those extra benefits. And the monthly payment is going to be, how much do you think a monthly payment should be on a $3,000 loan with 18% interest? How much would that be? How much do you think low monthly installments should be on a $3,000 credit card loan? How much do you think that would be? Give me a number. Christian, if you say low installment payments, you're right about that. That's one of the features and benefits. But how much is it? How much is that low installment payment? Come on, buddy, I'm waiting. Hit me. I'm looking at the chat. I'm waiting. So Vivian says $200. Would you consider that low, Christian? Anyone else? $200 on a $3,000 loan, $3,000 credit card? $200 a month. I'm assuming you're talking about a month. $450, Christian says. You think that would be low? What if I told you that the low monthly payment, the minimum payment, was going to be $35 a month? Now, think about that for a second, because it truly was a ridiculously low monthly payment. And this is the part that you really have to understand. And when you get to your Credit Crush assignment next week, you will understand it, because you're going to see it on a spreadsheet inside of your financial plan as you start to play with your debt payment strategies. You're going to see exactly how much the payment is, how much is the interest, how much is the minimum payment, and what is the balance. And that's the key, because if you have a $3,000 loan with a $35 payment and you have 18% interest, if you just do the math, you're going to be able to see, and you don't have to do the math now, but just think about it. Say it's a $3,000 loan, 18% interest. You can take a calculator and figure that out and do simple math without even using compounding. You can get the idea that you're basically $3,000 a year. I mean, $3,000, 18% a year. If you do the math, you'll find out what that interest is. And then when you do the minimum payment, you'll see that your minimum payment is less than your interest, which is added to the balance every month. And so what happens to your balance is it just keeps going up. If you pay the minimum, the balance keeps going up. It's a trap. It's like I said about payday loans, they're considered to be predatory. Well, that's what Firestone's credit card, and pretty much any credit card with these features and these benefits, turns out to be, because you think a low monthly payment may be $200, but they're happy to let you pay $35 a month, because then your interest is more than your payment and your balance just keeps going up. And every time your balance goes up, the interest that they're charging you on that loan goes up. So your interest can keep going up and your payment stays the same until they change it. And it becomes a trap. And that's what happened to me and my wife when we first got married, and we were buying everything on credit, paying the minimum. And then my wife sat me down one day and showed me the statements, and how, just like you're going to see when you do your Credit Crush assignment, she showed me how that our minimum payment wasn't even enough to cover the interest on those loans, and the balance on each one of those kept going up and up and up, and we were buried in debt. And that's why we decided we'd go on a spending freeze and not spend any more money until we paid off our debt. And that's when I had my buddy Vance showed me a nice .357 pistol that I couldn't live without. And I went and got some money, didn't tell my wife. I bought the pistol, and she heard me talking to Vance on the phone. That's when she poured a cold bottle of water on me, or cup of water. And we had a big fight, because money is something couples can generally fight about on a regular basis. And we were no exception. And I was the problem. Anyway, that's kind of the story. So as you might imagine, Billy and Sally, they hit it off. They became really good friends. ultimately ended up moving in together, got an apartment, started spending more money together because Sally liked nice things and they both made good money. But what happened over 6 months? Do you think Billy paid off that loan within 6 months so that he got the deal same as cash? If you think he did, no, Vivian, you're right. They started doing this and that, going out to eat, buying things, and they kind of just, it was a minimum payment. They could afford it. By then, they had a bunch of other debts. By the time the 6 months came and went, Billy didn't save the money to pay off those tires, so he just went ahead and paid the minimum. And then over time, as you will see in your financial plan, those debts just started to pile up and they were buried in debt. And they were spending so much money on interest payments that it became ridiculous. Like they would never get out of debt if they kept doing that. And you're going to see that because I'm going to I'm going to give you points in your assignment for setting up your loans: a house, a car, and $10,000 in a credit card. And you're going to do some research to figure out what's the right amount of interest for each of those purchases. And you're going to put those into your financial plan. And then next week, we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to structure different debt payment strategies so that you can see the difference between just paying the minimum, paying off the highest interest first, or paying off the highest or lowest balance first. So those are different strategies you can use in your financial plan, and it's super easy, and I'll make it really easy for you to do that. But I want you to see the extraordinary cost of debt and credit in your financial future. And so to do that, we're going to use your financial planning portal at Bayrock and Wright Capital for you to build those data cards. And that's what this week's assignment is to change your birthday, make yourself 10 years older, do a little research and figure out how much your annual income will be after you graduate, based on your major, based on your industry. And once you know that, you're going to have to do a little research to figure out what's the percentage of one's income that you would typically use for housing costs. And that's not hard to figure out. I'm going to ask you to do a little research so you can start to understand how this all works. But it's really simple. And then you're going to have to go back to your budget because you're going to understand now that you're 10 years older, you're out of school, you're working, and you have a budget. And that's the same place you did it for this week's assignment. You're going to update those categories. You're going to take another look at them and try to be as reasonable and accurate as you can be, assuming you're 10 years older and you're now making a certain income and you have certain bills. And now it's time for you to really think through, what is your cost of living? What is it going to cost you to live? And that's what those categories in that budget will be for you. You're going to have to do a little more research and rethink those numbers and update them for this week's assignment. So those are the basic categories. You may have more and you can add more, but the basic things that you need for living expenses. And so that's what you're going to do. And you're going to do the 3 big purchases. So you will buy a house. Again, I want you to just spend a little time and do a little research, figure out, where do you want to live? Like if you're in the oil industry, you probably want to live somewhere out in, the Katy area, Cypress, somewhere close to where you're probably going to be working. And so maybe it's not Houston, maybe it's somewhere else. Wherever it is, do a little research and find out how much is the house that you want to buy and you want to live in, that's where you want to live, the location you want to live. How much is it going to cost? And you're going to set up a data card in your financial plan for that mortgage. And you will have some video and some tutorial and help you do that in Money Study Group. But that's number 1, is to buy your dream house. Quick question. I see a quick question, Christian. Let me answer your question. Let me read it first. It says to include a screenshot of the classical, and I don't see anything in the assignment that says what the class collab is. You know what? Maybe that's not there. Let me think about that for a minute. I think I know what it will be. Since we're working on the house, let's make the class collaborate, and I'll go add this to the uh, assignment as soon as we finish this. But this is kind of so I want you guys to comment on, I want you to do a little research and comment on the percentage of your income that you should use for a mortgage. So just think about that. If you're making 100 grand a year, what percentage of that $100,000 should you use to apply to housing? It's a pretty easy thing to Google and figure out, but it's part of your assignment. So let's make that your class collaboration and give a little comment in Money Study Group, or you can do that on Facebook, YouTube. Just grab a screenshot when you leave that comment, either on Money Study Group or Facebook, YouTube, but not in GroupMe. It's not for GroupMe. So great question, Christian. I'm going to add that to the assignment so that will be in the assignment. Cool. Thank you. Let's see. The next big purchase. Hey, this is my dream car right there. That is me actually in that car. I was that's my mug right there. You can see. Anyway, I was driving at a racetrack and it was so much fun. I got to drive a Lamborghini. That was, I can't even remember. I drove 3 cars and I can't even remember. But anyway, you're going to buy a car. You can buy a Tesla. You can buy whatever you want. I would encourage you to buy the best car you think you can afford, but do a little research to figure out the cost of the car. That's easy. Just go to kellybluebook.com and find a car for sale, the one that you want. Maybe you want to buy a new one. You go to the factory website and build it out. Whatever you want to do, it's your choice. But you're going to buy a car. I want you to buy a car that's like the car you really want to drive so that you can see what that looks like in your financial plan. So that's the second purchase. And then the third one is simply just, you're going to go on a spending spree and spend at least $10,000 using a credit card. And again, these are all imaginary things, but they're going to help you understand and see the cost of debt in your life and in your financial plan. So those are the 3 big things you're going to do this week in your financial plan. So that's all part of the Capstone assignment. And again, you will have more information in Money Study Group. This is a data card. So this is a data card for Billy's credit card. So that's what it looks like. But you're going to have one of those, a data card that is for, you're going to have to update your income data card based on that salary that you're going to earn if you get your dream job. So you're going to want to do that. You're going to set up a mortgage loan, which is another data card with a lot of information in it. So pay attention, do your homework in Money Study Group and learn what's in that data card so that you don't get any deductions there. You're also going to do a car loan and credit card. Those are each of those 4 things are data cards, and you're going to need to take screenshots of each of those. So that's really your assignment this week. And then you're just going to do your article, which is where you just basically tell me what you learned and what your observations were. And I don't care how many words you use. You don't have to, if you don't have 800 words, you don't need to go to 800 words, but do make sure you give me a good idea of what you learned this week as you prepare for the Credit Crush assignment. That's next week. So and then the final steps, you're going to show me the quiz, class collaboration comment screenshot, which again is going to be, how do you figure out how much money you can spend on a house? Just give me a comment. What did you learn? What did you find? And post that somewhere public, either in Money Study Group, YouTube, or Facebook. So that'll be good. So there you go. And then next week we'll do the Credit Crush assignment, where we take the debt that you incurred this week, the purchases you made this week, and we will apply debt payment strategies to those so that you can see exactly how much it's costing you to hold debt, to pay interest on credit credit cards, car loans, mortgage, student loans, all of the things that you have in your financial plan. And if you have student loans, you should add that to your financial plan as well, because then you can start to see different debt payment strategies so that you know what's the best, smartest way to attack that credit, which is what we call credit crush. Crush that credit. Get rid of that credit. Get rid of those debts. How do you do that in the smartest way possible? So I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed the story about Billy and Sally. And I hope you have fun this week in your assignment as you prepare for a life, hopefully a debt-free life. But if you're going to have debt, debt's not always a bad thing. I mean, sometimes you need it, like for a mortgage, but you've got to be smart about how you use credit. And credit is a product, as we learned today with Sally and Billy. So I don't see any questions here in the Zoom meeting. I'm going to pause. It's 11 a.m., so I'm going to wrap it up. And if you have a question in Zoom, please post it. If you hear the siren outside, I have no idea what that is. Can you hear that? All right. No questions in Zoom. Now I'm going to run over to the live stream and I'm going to shut that down. And then I will come back. And if you have a question in Zoom and in the chat, I will go ahead and answer it. But let me go close out the live stream. If you've been watching on Facebook or YouTube, please leave a comment, and you're welcome to like the video and subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on. It's being posted on several channels. But this also, by the way, will be posted in your playlist for this semester. It's spring 2023. And when you go to Missional Money or Money Study Group, you have a playlist for this semester, and this video will be in that playlist for sure. Okay, I'm going to jump on over and I'm going to finish the broadcast. So thanks for watching on Facebook and YouTube.